Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today let's have a look at what it's like to have a night out with N.I.N.A. Welcome back to As the Astro. So what is N.I.N.A and why do we use it? Well, N.I.N.A stands for Nighttime Imaging and Astronomy. It's basically some software you can use to automate your nighttime imaging as much as possible. It's fairly simple to use. There's two sequences in it, a legacy one which is an easier one to use, but we tend to use the advanced one, and I'll try and briefly go through that today. Basically what I've got is some screen recordings of a complete, or most of the night imaging of M42, which is the Orion nebula, and there's an image towards the end which we can reveal to you of what we took that particular night. So yeah, so basically first thing we did was went outside and got the telescope set up. So this is my usual spot in the garden when we get the telescope set up. We've got a laptop there on the table, and we've just got a little tub just to cover it so it doesn't freeze in the middle of the night. So one of the first things we do is we load up Sharpcap. Now what do we use Sharpcap for? Well, in this case, and you'll have to excuse the blurred out bar in the middle, it kept popping up with an email address, and I didn't want that doxed in the video. But yes, what do we use Sharpcap for? Well, this was the first time that I've collimated this particular telescope, so there was a couple of tests I wanted to do. There was a star test to make sure collimation was okay, and trying to get it back into focus again because everything had been out, so all the camera and the chroma corrector and everything had been out. So here you can see me, I'm just connecting to the camera, and the mount will pop up in a second as well. But the main thing we use Sharpcap for is for polar aligning. So we're just getting the camera and the mount connected, and then we're just going to try and get it in focus as quickly as we can, enough so that we can play it solve, and then we can get into the polar alignment. Now the polar alignment routine is fairly straightforward. All we have to do is rotate the RA axis by 90 degrees, and then Sharpcap's very clever in that it will give us exactly how far out our polar alignment is. Mine tends to be pretty good because of I've got some decking that I can put it against, so I'm normally under a degree. Normally I'm just out by about 30 minutes or so. I think this thing comes back with something like 29 minutes. Once we've got us how far out we're out, we can click on next here, and then that gives us what we need to do. And basically I just need to drop the mount down, and then move it to the right ever so slightly, and then we just use the controls on the mount just to adjust them. And in the end there, I think we got it down to just under 30 arc seconds, which in Sharpcap is deemed as excellent, so I'm happy with that. Now, as this had been the first time I had collimated this telescope, I wanted to have a quick look and see how well I'd actually managed to collimate it. So we slewed round to a target star called Capella, and then all we did was defocus to take the star out of focus, and that's what you can see me doing here. And all I'm looking for is to see how good a donut and how central is the black section compared to the rest. It looks pretty good to me. It was enough for what I need to do, so I didn't make any more adjustments, and this is what we went with. And then finally, we just need to get the star back into focus again. So we threw on a batten-off mask and just manually adjusted the focus. I haven't got an autofocuser yet. That is on the next list of things to do, but I think we did pretty well with getting it in focus, and it kept the same focus all night, so I was really pleased with that. Okay, so we've done with Sharpcap now, so we can close that. You can see I've launched the guiding software there in the background, and it's guiding away on a star. We are working on guiding to try and get a little better. But anyway, let's get N.I.N.A started, and let's get sorted out with what we need to do in here. So it takes a minute or two to load, but the first thing we need to do is to connect our equipment. And we have only got 3 things to connect. We have only got the camera, the mount, and the guiding software. That is it. We haven't got anything else yet. We haven't got any focusers or rotators or anything like that. So we just need the 3 things. Camera, which we're connecting now. As soon as we connect it, we fire up the cooling on the camera, so we can get the camera down to -10 degrees is what I like to have it on. Then we can go to the mount, connect the mount up. I think it throws a warning about it being 17 seconds out on the time between the mount and the computer. It's not really a problem. And then we can launch the guide as well. So the first thing we want to do is we want to grab our target for the evening, which is going to be M42. So if we go into the Sky Atlas, we type in our target that we want, M42 there, hit search. This will then search through its known list of targets, and then what we do, we send that to the framing assistant. The framing assistant will load an image so you can see basically what you're going to be trying to image that particular evening. And what we do is we then tell the telescope to go and slew to that position. So there's a slew and center on there, which we go and hit, and that telescope will then slew round to that location. Now behind there you can see that the field of view of the camera, which is the white box behind the slew and center thing there, is perfectly square. Now that isn't how our camera is currently set. It's stuck in the telescope, but we don't know exactly what rotation it is. So once it's finished slewing, and once it's on target, it will take an exposure, see if it's on target. It's normally slightly out, as you can see here. The M42 is actually sitting slightly above, and then it will re-slew to the target, and then retake another image to make sure that it is actually on target. Once it is on target, it will start the guiding up as well, just to make sure that everything's hunky-dory. But as I say, the white box in the background, we need to know what the camera rotation is within it. So there's an option there to determine rotation from camera, and pressing that, it will then determine exactly what field of view it is and what it is looking at, and then we can send that over to our sequence. So that's determining the camera rotation. There we go. And then we need to add that target to a sequence. So I've got some advanced sequences set up. I call them all night long because they run till astronomical dawn, even if the target isn't up until astronomical dawn, as this target isn't. But I just use it as a base that I can work off, because you can adjust it within the sequencer anyway. So there we've added it to a target list. So when we're going to sequencer, we can then see the target lists on the right. So there's a few target lists I've been playing around before, and all we have to do is to drag our target across onto the sequence target area, and once we drop it on, we can see all of our instructions. Now it is actually fairly straightforward. You just got target details at the top. That's where it will slew to. And instructions, we've got a slew and center, we've got to start guiding, and then you get the actual image in itself. So we're going to do a dither after every 5 exposures. I think I changed that later to 20 because we only end up doing 30-second exposures. We're going to do a meridian flip when it's time to do a meridian flip. We've got loop until astronomical dawn. I can't remember if I changed that or not actually in this. And then we're just going to take an exposure every 30 seconds. Okay, before we start the actual imaging, what I do end up doing is just taking a couple of test subframes, just purely because we want to know, it's quite a bright object this, and I want to know, was 30 seconds too much, was it too little? So all we do is we take a quick 30-second subframe, just so we can have a quick look at the histogram, make sure that it's not too low, make sure it's not too bright. We don't want to be blowing out stars and having, so what we're looking for is the maximum number of pixels to be a couple of thousand. We don't want it to be like in the tens of thousands, otherwise we're taking too long an exposure. And on the min side, as long as it's like 900 for one pixel, is absolutely fine. So from an exposure point of view, I was happy with 30 seconds, and then we could take lots and lots and lots of them. So now we are completely happy that we've got everything set up. We've got as exposure time. We then can start the sequence, and this is what N.I.N.A will do. It will just take image after image after image after image. So it does a quick slew. It's already there on target, so it just makes sure that it's still on target and everything else. It will start the guiding back up, and once its guiding is settled, it will start taking images. So imaging away was getting close to the time to Meridian flip, and because N.I.N.A is fully automated, it will do it all for you. So this is N.I.N.A's Meridian flip sequence. So in the end we took 300 30-second sub-exposures, processed it all in the usual way in Grasper and Cyril, and in a second you will get to see the results. So thank you very much everyone for watching. Again, please do all the YouTube like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully in the next video I will have a review of the HEM 15 for you. Thanks very much everyone, we'll see you in the next one.